Okay.
So P is still fixing her head. This is the thing with life, right? You never know when it catches you.
I know. Ooh.
This is life. And well, P, welcome
Yeah,
to
anyway,
another conversation.
afterwards I want to talk with you about something else for my show or something else like that. I'll tell you
Okay.
later.
So we're live now. We're live now, girl.
Yes, we are. Ooh, 14 seconds.
So welcome to another GloBUNTU Book Launch. Today we're launching book 24 of 27. Yes, book 24.
Yeah.
And today it's my sister friend and partner in crime and in questioning, in search for
Yes.
history, Dr. Pauline Bird, all the way from
The one she
Japan.
picked up at the side of the road. The one she picked up on the side of the road in Guam.
I just know
The one
that
and
you are
only.
our I know that you are our double award winning author, international author, and I know that you're a wonderful conversation partner.
Okay. I'll take those. I'll take those.
And I know that you are a sister to reckon with. I know that you are a
That's
storyteller, story girl,
excuse
Pauline.
me. Yes, I'm a Bostonian woman, always to be reckoned with.
And I know that you are a village girl from Boston Village.
Yes, and village people from my village are forces to be reckoned with.
So, P,
Yes,
today we are
yes.
talking about this book. It's a beautiful book. We're going in search of the wonders of Africa. You know,
Okay.
the continent Africa is endowed with a lot of natural resources, human
Mhm.
resources. It is endowed with culture, deep culture, civilizations,
Mhm.
some of which we don't even know, some of which we are still discovering. So I'm
Mhm.
very happy that today we're going to just be looking at the landscape, at what nature gave us, that we're not, it's not politics today. It's just nature, something that is there that we can't argue about. Tell me a little bit about Guyana. How is the landscape like in Guyana?
Oh, Guyana has a very mixed landscape. Um, we have 83,000 square miles or 216,000 square kilometers. And we're flanked by Brazil on the south, Venezuela. No, yes, Venezuela, I think the east, and we have the Atlantic Ocean to the north, and then we have Suriname and the other two Guyanas nearby. So, but when you go onto the landscape itself, the east coast where I live runs parallel to the Atlantic Ocean, and it's below sea level, so it's flat. It's like Johannesburg, that it's
Mm.
flat. So when I came there, I saw that, I recognize this, but it's not as big as Johannesburg. Not that big. That place is immense. You guys' place, and so the city is in the coastal plains as well. Georgetown sits by Demerara River. We have three huge rivers: Demerara, Berbice, and Escobar, and they were counties that the colonialists divide up the space and name. But when we go out of the city, maybe some 80 miles away or something, you get to the bauxite mining town region, and that's hilly. And so you'll find slopes, you'll find hills, still have rivers. The name Guyana means land of many waters. That the
Mhm.
indigenous people of Guyana is land of many waters. So we have lots of water. We have waterfalls, we have rivers, we have creeks, and things like that. And Essequibo River, which is the biggest river, it has 365 islands in its mouth
Ooh.
alone. And so, and if you go to the hinterland where they have, um, you know, forestry and they have savannas where they ranch cattle, and people who live out there, they move around on boats and on horses. So we have the coastal plain, we have the Rupununi savannas, we have the rolling hills of, places like Linden and what was formerly a place called Mackenzie. So it's very, very varied. Some places you have rapids, like in the Escobar River. You can take a boat, you can go on a ride on the rapids, but our water is brown. It's brown like coffee, but and cool and beautiful. And when we go camping in the interlands, like in the areas of the trees along the hills, it feels like Linden Highway. You can get a creek, and if you know how to operate with nature, you can get your drinking water there. You can make your drink, a drink we call swank, like a limeade or lemonade. We would make that up when we go camping, and we put them in bottles and tie them in the creek to the trees of the root to the roots of the trees, and let them cool out like a nice refrigerator. And I love camping out there and stuff. You make your own housing and everything. So yeah, we got a lot of nature and beautiful landscape and flora and fauna, the macaws, the jaguars, the cats of our jungle, and things like that. Vampire bats, all kinds of frogs and toads and flowers and birds and everything. Yeah, come to
Nice,
Guyana.
nice.
Hmm.
You make me want to travel to Guyana. I have it on my bucket list. As soon as I can,
Yes.
I'm traveling to
Hmm.
Guyana. But you know what, P?
Listen, 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 B. Emanuela came
Yeah.
to Guyana. You know Emanuela?
Oh, from Nigeria, the little
Yes,
young
she
girl.
came to Guyana. Yes.
Oh my goodness, the comedian.
You
Wow,
know.
wow. Okay, okay. So P,
Yeah,
I was just thinking, we are all locked down. It's pandemic, and ever since we
yeah,
started this book launch on the 3rd of August, we have been traveling places. We are virtually traveling places, mentally traveling places, emotionally traveling. I mean, we have been to so many places in
gosh.
South Africa. We've been to Botswana. We've been to Cameroon. We've been to Guyana, we've been to New York, been to Japan, we've been to,
Yes.
we have traveled across the
Antigua.
55 countries of Africa in one book. And today we will be traveling, across a host of African countries in search of the wonders of Africa, in search of landscapes that, are natural attractions in Africa. So before we get started, we see our sister Cornelia. She's here, sister. We see you. Thank you for always being on the table. Um, we love having you. And she says, "Greetings, our powerful women. Great having Dr. Pauline back in Japan." So you're
Yes.
receiving some smileys and hats and hugs all the way
Thank
from
you.
Germany. We have Bernice Simple. Oh, welcome, Bernice. It's the first time that we see you
Bernice,
on the.
yeah, Bernice is my friend. She's a
Oh,
What is for
nice.
Research follower. Yes, I know Bernice. Hi, Bernice. Nice to see you here.
and of and of course, Washington is on the table. Washington is always on the table. Geraldine is here. Good morning,
Oh,
Geraldine.
yes.
She
Hi,
says good
Geraldine.
morning.
Geraldine is a
Okay.
diehard here.
So let's get started. Let's get started. Again, Africa is very, very
Yes, yes.
beautiful. P, you came to Africa twice already. You came to South Africa twice already. What do
Mhm.
you remember? Flying when you leave Japan and you're flying over in the sky down to this continent. What did you see from up there? What landscapes? Did you were you sitting on
It
the
was
window?
it was winter,
Uh huh.
so we didn't have a lot of greenery. There was some greenery, and I could see like some. I saw the land, like red dirt over Johannesburg, like it was some kind of mining place. I heard later, but I couldn't recognize any landscape, anything on the landscape. I had seen a documentary a couple of weeks before on Japanese TV. When I was coming to South Africa, I thought, wow, this is interesting. I saw all the tabletop mountain and stuff. But when I I didn't know what to expect in Johannesburg. I had read about, people going on safaris and stuff. I really didn't care for I didn't have an interest in that. I was more interested in meeting the people and absorbing the place. Um, what it struck me like some parts of it was like California, other parts reminded me of Puerto Rico. Some parts remind me of Brooklyn, New York. And those parts I felt comfortable, like I wanted to be there, but you guys kept saying, oh no, this is not it. I felt like I could walk right in there. Some of it felt like Georgetown by Stabrook Market, with the bus, hustle and bustle, and people selling street food and different things. And I felt like, I could be in this part of the place. But I didn't know that that was a ghetto place. you know? So I'm thinking, this is ghetto, this is Brooklyn. you know, this is this is Utica Avenue and all these different places. So I remember going into the cave. What was that cave called? 60 feet
The
below.
cave. Oh yes, we went to the Stekfontein caves. It's next to the cradle of humankind in Maropeng,
Right.
not far from Johannesburg.
So I it was 60 feet into the belly of the earth, and I thought, wow, I just didn't come to Africa. I went inside the ground. It was, and I am so enamored with the land. Land, talking about the land and what it means in our, I'm trying not to use a big word, but I can't, in our belief systems. I'm thinking the word I was going to use is ontology, the way we come to understand ourselves. I was thinking of the land, what plays the land, what role the land plays. And, I came in August and it was Emancipation time where we celebrated Africans being released from enslavement. And, and at the time, like I told you before, at that time people would sing about the motherland and carry back to Africa, carry back to my mother country and things like that. And here I was in the motherland and absorbing nature and seeing how people dealt with the land. And remember, I tried to take a picture of some people. They were in white clothes. And in our country,
Hmm.
they call them the Jordanites, or the people who have their own church, like they have ancestral church or something like that. We call them the faithists and so on. And I was surprised to see them there, and they were in the hot sun at midday doing something, and I wanted to go and figure it out. I wasn't sure if they were by the water or what. So that was how they were using the land. Did we see animals? I don't think we went anywhere with animals.
No.
On my second trip, I did, but
Mm.
yeah, I the land. And for those who are listening who haven't been to South Africa, I have never seen so many black people in my born life. Where do you see black people? Plenty, plenty, plenty. To me, that's the wonder of Africa. Yeah, I was amazed. I mean, where I came from, I was like, people, but so many. I was amazed. So let's talk about Africa and the wonders, because what I know of Africa is that all animals.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to not focus on animals. We're going to focus on the landscape. Africa has beautiful landscape, just like it has a lot of minerals and natural resources. Our landscape and the water are part of that. So we're going to go through them. If you just see this book cover, how beautiful it is, it's very, very colorful, and that's how colorful this landscape, this wonders that we're going to look at, look like. In the UNESCO World Heritage Site, they have seven
Mhm,
wonders of Africa. And I
mhm,
decided to go beyond the seven wonders. So in this book, we have actually 26. And
mhm,
some of the places, those in South Africa, some places in South Africa that I visited when I thought like, oh my God, this is really beautiful. This is like, God must have been here. God must have been in
mhm,
this place to have created
mhm,
this. So those are those that are in the book. And someone asked me for whom the book was written, for whom did I write the
Yeah.
book? And I said, this book is written first of all for me because I can't travel. I don't have the resources to travel across Africa. So I decided to travel
Mhm.
mentally, emotionally. I decided to travel with my books. So you see, I have been here. I traveled through all the 55 African countries. You find that I know my Africa from A to Z. And here I wanted to go to all the tourist places. You hear people say we're going to the pyramids in Egypt. I've never seen the pyramids,
Mhm.
but through my books, I travel there. And so I wrote this book for me because I wanted to discover them as part of my heritage. I wrote it also for people who may not have the resources to travel, children who may not
Mhm.
travel. I did not know that we were going to be locked down. So when you have this book, it allows you to travel first of all from the comfort of your space, whether it's your home, your office, or wherever you are. You can travel with your children. And just imagine every evening you pick one of these wonders and you go through the book, the page, you contemplate, you go online, you do research, or you tell stories of, just like you told us about Guyana. Take it like a tip to tell the stories about where you come from. Especially, many of us live we migrate. Migration is part of our history. So we live in different countries. We have children and family and friends, and this is like that book that will ignite the conversation so you get to talk about where you come from, talk about your village,
Mhm.
talk about your community. So it's for those people, it's for families, it's for companies, it's for organizations, it's for young people, for anyone who is curious. So someone who wants to discover their African heritage, whether you were born on the continent or outside of the continent. So it's just there to show us what we have as a continent. So
Mhm.
let's go quickly into the
Yeah.
book because from the book you see some of the things that when you come back here, what you may want to visit. Okay.
Well, not South Africa. I mean, I can't come to South Africa too often. I got to go to other parts of Africa.
Yeah, so these wonders are all across Africa. So you see, maybe
Yeah.
the next country that you want to put on your agenda because you may want to
Mhm.
visit that particular wonder or that particular site. Most of them are already termed UNESCO heritage sites, um, and some of them are not. So I'm going to go quickly to the book. That's it. P, can you see the wonders of Africa? The title
Yep.
page.
Yes, I
Okay,
could.
so we're gonna go very quickly through that, very, very quickly. So you see right here, I have Miriam Makeba. I like to put quotes in my book. I like to
Mhm.
bring other opinions in the books. So here, Mama Africa says, Africa has its mysteries. Even a wise man cannot understand them, but a wise man respects them. And I can't agree any less with Miriam Makeba, our famous Mama Africa. So you go through that. The table of content gives you the list of all the countries that we're going to and the name of the wonders.
Mhm.
You see, like the first one is Serengeti National Park in Tanzania,
Mhm.
and I was very amazed, P, that Tanzania has most of the national
Mhm.
the wonders of Africa. They belong to the seven wonders of Africa as listed by UNESCO. So
Mhm.
and then we have our reader's guide. As always, it's never missing. And I'm very proud of this. P, do you recognize this young man?
Yes.
Yes,
Somebody's child.
it's somebody's child. It's the author's son. So the author's son wrote a preface.
Mhm.
Like you said, we're creating a legacy and we want, people who are
Yeah.
close to us to be part of this legacy. And so I was very happy when he opted to write. I asked and he said yes, which is very rare. He normally would not say yes. So where that's the Serengeti National Park, and what makes Serengeti so important is that it has the greatest animal migration, the greatest Mara migration in the whole world when it is the season. So we have Serengeti, and as you always see, I want people to learn. You always find a map of Africa. It shows you where Tanzania is on the map of Africa, so you can, have a good feel. And look at those animals. That's when the Mara migration takes place. You see all these animals that cross from there to different parts of Africa during the season. And what I love about this book that is new that you'll not find in the other books is that I have these quizzes in there, like a kind of detective, a kind of explorer,
Mhm.
whoever you are, there these questions that you find. Some of them are quick quiz and some of them are where you have to go to the map and look for something. So it's wanting to engage my readers as usual. So I'm not going to go. So look at that P.
Oh, beautiful.
That's Mount Kilimanjaro with the moon, full moon. Isn't that beautiful?
Nice. Yeah,
So that is
awesome.
as well. So that would be Mount Kilimanjaro when without the moon. It's the tallest alone standing mountain in the world. It stands all alone. It's not part of a chain of mountains like most of the mountains that we know. So the River Nile is it's one of it crosses over how many 11 African
11
countries,
countries. Yeah.
sources of life in Africa. So I'm just going to go quickly. So that one is the the Red Sea Reef. It contains most of the fish sorts and the shark sorts that you find in the whole world. They are right there in the Red Sea Reef. It's a very beautiful water. Then, of course, the Sahara Desert, the dunes, some of them are very particular. And here, when you talked about the small islands, I immediately thought about the Okavango Delta, which is in Botswana and part of Zambia. It has how many? It has about 60,000. It is about 60,000 years old, and it has quite a number of small islands on it, and it has this blue water. It's very scenic, very beautiful. When you know where it is. So right here you find Botswana on the map, and then you have that 1 minute quiz. It's something new that I attempted in my new manuscript. That's the majestic Okavango River. When you fly next time across Africa, P, just sit on the window and look down. You may find the River Nile or the Okavango River, and it's really, really very beautiful the way it flows. So that's the delta. And then this one is Namakwa land in Namibia. It's the biggest, the largest flower bird, colorful flower birds that you ever see. It's extremely beautiful. So
are those naturally occurring, or are those naturally occurring, or
they're naturally occurring? Yeah, they're naturally occurring. It's called Namakwa
land. Oh, there's the baobab.
Sorry?
Baobab.
Yes, this now we're in Madagascar. From Namibia we jump to Madagascar, and this is the baobab, the famous Baobab Avenue.
Yes.
And
we've had so many conversations about that.
Come again, please. Sorry.
Yeah, we've had so many conversations about the baobab. Can you talk a little bit about its significance? If a minute.
Well, I can't really say, but I just know that the baobab it's a majestic tree. I mean, it's one of the, I think they said the oldest is 600 years or 60,000 years, 60,000 years. And they only grow in particular places in the world. They are in Madagascar. You find them in some part of West Africa. I think there was a place somewhere in the US, in one of the US states, where they were baobab. And, people there were comparing it to Africa. I can't really give you a whole lot. Okay. I haven't done research on the baobab tree as such. I would be lying, but I just know that it's a tree that has a lot of symbol in the African culture.
Yeah.
So, well, there we go. We are now in DRC, and that tall mountain that you see over there, that's how it looks, the crater, the summit of the lake Nyiragongo. It's a majestic mountain. Can you see the crater in there?
Yeah, I can see the crater.
You see the stage, it's like you have the stage here, and then the show is happening in there.
Yep.
Okay, and this one is something that I really, really love. It's the underwater waterfall in Mauritius. Have you ever heard about that? A waterfall under the water, right there.
Wow.
So we're not gonna pause there. You can see the picture right there again. It's really, really beautiful. And yes, now we're in South Africa. The first time that I was in this space, I had been carrying the picture. I bought a magazine in Austria, and I carried it with me when I saw this picture. I just said to myself, one day I'm going to visit this place whenever I have money. So I came to South Africa. This picture was on my vision board, and one day one of my South African sons said, "Let's go to Mpumalanga," and I was like, Mpumalanga. And so we went to Mpumalanga, and all of a sudden, I stood in front of this, it has been on my vision board like for 2 years. And I was speechless for 5 minutes. I did not even realize it. He was like, "Mom, are you here? Can you hear me?" I just could, it was so beautiful, so natural. And when I
Mm.
came back, it's after 1 week that I realized that it was on my vision board. I stood and I was like,
Okay.
geez, and I was there. Be mindful of what.
Yeah.
So that's how, look at how beautiful it is. And I've seen a similar landscape somewhere in America or in South America or
Yeah.
somewhere there.
Mhm.
Mhm. So these are the three rondavels. They call it the Three Sisters. So it's also in South Africa, not too far from the Blade River Canyon. In this book, you always find two pictures, so you can see different perspectives. And this is
Mhm.
the Bokelux potholes. They are also still in the same region as the two that you just saw above.
Mhm.
There is a bridge crossing it, and it's just so, when you get there, you're like, oh my God, how did this happen? And here
Mhm.
is the red desert. This is the only red desert in the world. It's the Namib Desert. And they have some of the highest dunes in the whole world, they say. And this one is the Victoria Falls. Now we are in Zimbabwe and Zambia, the beautiful Victoria Falls. And this is Table Mountain in Cape Town, South Africa. So you'll notice that South Africa and Tanzania had most of the wonders of Africa that I have in this book. So the pyramids in Egypt, the Great Pyramid of Giza, I think many people know that already. And of course, Mezagan by night and by day. So those are the pyramids were in Egypt and Morocco, North Africa. And back to South Africa, that's the dome, the Vredefort Dome. And
Mhm.
we have something
Yeah.
very particular in Africa, the Pink Lake.
Okay.
This is the Pink Lake in Senegal. It's full of
Mhm.
salt, and people say it's very good for health reasons. There are people who come all the way from abroad to have their therapies on this Pink Lake. It has a lot of salt that supplies the whole region of West
Okay.
Africa. That's how it looks at its best. And I
Mhm.
was amazed when I first discovered this Lake Radba in Senegal.
Mhm.
And just next to Senegal, again in Tanzania, we have the Red Lake. So the other one is the Pink Lake, and this is the Lake Natron. It is in Tanzania, and it's full of sodium. That's how it looks sometimes.
Mhm.
And so we are in Senegal, the national bird sanctuary in Senegal. It's something very beautiful. That's where most of the birds assemble. And this one is a historical place. Pete, does this
Mhm.
ring a bell in
Well,
your head?
say that again.
This one is an island. It's a small,
Okay.
tiny island, but full of history.
Yeah, you mentioned this Gori Island the last time. That's where they would take the people
Yes,
that
when
they
we
were
talk,
going to take away the slave,
yes,
the
this was when,
Africans, and make them into the Atlantic slave trade.
right. You see this place here. This is the fortress. The fortress. That's where the port of no return was. Right in here, next to the sea.
Hmm.
So, well, that's those are some of the architectures on Gori Island, and there we go. And when we're done, we always have quiz for smart kids. That's typical for every Africa for Smart Kids book series. And then we are done. See, that was a quick trip.
Um, yeah. One of the things that I've thought about over the years is that when we look at landscapes and beautiful places,
Mm-hmm,
a lot of times I would see them in isolation and not connected to people. So we have
mm-hmm,
these beautiful landscapes that are photographed, and I'm always asking, where are the people of that place?
mm-hmm,
Who is included? Who is left out?
mm-hmm,
What's the other part of that story? Because when you procure a site and call it a World Heritage Site, um, who benefits from that?
mm-hmm,
Who are the people that live around there? The people of the land. Because too many times when you would read histories, you would hear about, and I think I read, somebody was talking about this. I think it's something Geraldine sent to me, where the person talks about, you know, they would, the history is written about how countries are developed and their wealth and so on, but you never hear of the people who work to produce that wealth for other nation states.
Mhm.
So in all that beauty there, whose hands are involved?
It's not just a question of the hands that build it. Some of it is natural, but there are hands
Hmm.
that maintain it. And
Right. That's
I
what I'm
think
talking about. Yeah.
the hands that maintain it, and the question is for whom do they maintain it?
Hmm.
Most people in African countries don't know this sites and the UNESCO heritage sites. And when you read like the Mount Kilimanjaro, who comes there every year? When you look at all the sites, the people that come there, they come from abroad. Okay, on the
Hmm.
one side, we could say this is tourism. They bring economic,
Hmm.
they boost the economy of the country by bringing in currency, bringing in business, bringing in money, and maybe filling the hotels. You could say income is coming from here. At the same
Yeah.
time, you realize that people who maintain it for this income to come in, they are either not being paid well, they don't get a good payment for this, for maintaining it,
Hmm.
and they don't even have a time to go through it. They don't even know it. They're working on that place where they are assigned. Keep this place clean. You're at the gate, make sure that people get in. Another one is at the other entrance. You just doing your job, and you really don't have the time to go enjoy. Just enjoy the
Yeah.
place that you are maintaining. You're just there to keep it up. And this is one of the tragedies, of the people. And when you
Yeah.
see then when people, the tourists that come to all these places, um,
Hmm.
some of the pictures that they take, what wonders me, it goes back to our conversation again back then. These pictures are not taken out. People who go here, where do we, what stories do you tell? How do you go
Hmm.
from this beauty and then go tell the story of, the child that maybe has a fly on
Yeah.
the nose? That's the
Yes.
most sensational picture that you put on your social media or share with your people. What
Hmm.
stories do people share? And if you're sharing the stories of these beautiful places that you see, the thousands of people that flock in there annually, I want to believe that the world will have a different perception about Africa. But why
Yeah.
are those stories not being told? Why does the negative story continue? It's something that, baffles me all the
Yeah.
time.
And thank you for that answer. And I think to in relation to the purpose of this book, um, a book like this in the hands of kids who are from the other side of the track, so to speak, who are not so fortunate to be able to visit these places, they can visit them in books. That's why books are important. Because I remember being a child in the village, sitting on the back step with my book that showed aspects of Africa animals. I was amazed. I couldn't even pronounce some of the names. It was much later that I could, you know, say some of those names. And but I was amazed at those. And to me, when I was 10 and 11, I had traveled the world. Like I live in Japan, but like I tell people, I had been here before I came in person. I've been here. I read about the lifestyle. I've read so many things, and many countries I've been to, I've visited them in books. And so I think having books means a lot. It can open so many doors, cross so many borders, economic, social, class, and things like that. A book in the hands of a child. And not only a child, but an adult in the kinds of industries that you just talked about. And I can, link back to the conversations we've had with Uber drivers in South Africa.
Hmm.
You remember, these guys are listening to us talk and getting into the conversations and learning so much. And I remember when we were going to some of these sites, we would tell the driver, "You come with us." And a couple of them were reluctant, but we're like, "Okay, you're coming, we're paying." And one of the guys said he'd never been inside the cradle of humankind.
Hmm.
And so to me, I felt really good about seeing the things myself and learning alongside this person who was from there and had not been there. I when we went out with Grace, it was a joy to go with Grace because she was seeing what I was seeing to a tourist's eyes, and enjoying that. So that was pretty neat. Yeah.
That's the reason why we write these books, P, and the reason why we're doing these book launches as well, because the books are here, and quite a lot of people don't know about the books. Sometimes you see the cover of the book, you see the title, you don't know what is inside. So the reason why we write a book is for that child who cannot travel. It's for that child who cannot, who doesn't have the means. It's for that child whose parents or whose caregiver can only afford a book. For this child to travel, just like you say, travel across
Yeah.
Africa. It's for this child. This book opened doors. You never know where your future will take you to. So when I was
True.
writing, I was saying, when you read this book, it may inspire you to go to places. It may inspire you, to do things. It may open doors for you. Maybe 10 or 20 years after this, you will say, when I heard about this in this book, I knew I was, I knew that I was going to do it one day. I made the plan that I was going to visit the wonders of Africa one day, that I would take a trip with my children because I saw this book, because I saw this picture, and I wanted to go there in person. So that is the reason why we write these books, to show people what is out there and they can make out of it what they want, whether now in the middle term or in the long run. It's also for them to tell the story to other people around them, to say, did you know this? Have you seen this? It's there to encourage them to go online and do research. If you can't travel, you have internet, you can travel as much as you want. And that's the cheapest way to travel. And no one has an excuse not to travel if you have internet. You have a device and you have access to internet. You can travel every night. You can travel every day. You can discover so much. It's not the time that you and I grew up here where you only had to have a book, and if you didn't have the book, you could not travel. Today we have
Right.
smartphones, and that's something that you can make the best out of your smartphone by making it your university, your school, the school that you did not have, or your destination to places that you would otherwise not travel to. And the reason why we open these manuscripts online, very untypical for authors, the reason why we open them online is also to let people get an insight into it, see what is in there. Even if you can't buy the book, you already have an idea of what is in the book. And that idea may open doors for you. That idea may ignite some other things. It may, ignite your creativity or your curiosity or whatever it is. That is the sole reason why we open these books online, and share the manuscript with anyone who is here or anyone who may come after here, who may come across this conversation online. We have online, we have Geraldine says, Miss P, no.
Right.
What does she say first? Good to see you, Miss P. So
Hi.
she says, Miss
Good
P,
to see
go to
you.
Nigeria and you will see people on top of people. Okay,
Oh
not too
God.
sure what that means. Bernice says, where can I buy this book? Bernice, I don't know where you are. I don't have this on Amazon yet, but it is on globuntubooks.com. And there is one other thing that I'm preparing out of this book. You can have printables very soon. At the end of September on the website, you can get the printables. It means you can have, wall posters that you can, put on your wall, something like, where you have all the attractions in. It's You can also have a game, where you have a game of cards called Guess What, and then so you can find all of these games downloadable online. You can also get, print them and frame them and put in your walls, so that they're in your space and you own them. You travel with them everywhere, whether you're in a classroom, in your living room, in your kitchen, wherever you want to have all these beautiful landscapes. So if you're interested in having them, you can already inbox me, and I will know. I can send them to you before they get on the website. Geraldine,
One more thing.
yes, Pete?
Oh, Geraldine saying something?
No, I just wanted to pick all those online. Geraldine says, a beautiful trip. I have seen Table Mountain. Okay, good for you, Geraldine. You must see all the other places. You must go to see Mpumalanga, those other beautiful places. She says, yes, the back steps and the front steps is where we learn about Africa. Mm-hmm.
Right.
P, not
So
her head. Tell me
location.
something about front step and back step, P.
Yeah. But you don't have any steps at your house, so you're gonna come to our place. You see, in the coastland where I used to live, because it's low, it's below sea level. Homes are built on stilts. We have posts that go up, and we have long steps for, I don't know, 20 something, you know, treaders, as we say. And so you run up and down those things, and There were social places for social gathering. Children sit on steps, parents sit on steps in the evening. They might eat dinner there. They might talk over the day. It was a place to read, a place to play, relax. There's so much going on those stairs or steps. But what I wanted to contribute is this notion of cultivating an appetite to
Mm-hmm.
consume what we produce, um,
Mm-hmm.
to be appreciative of the landscape and whatever nature has bestowed upon us when we live in a certain place. When I was growing up, Guyana was not a tourist country. I would say it was a closed country. It was going socialist, and many people couldn't travel freely. I think I got a passport when I left home without a passport. It was when I returned that I got a passport, and I left home when I in my at 30 or something like that. So um, I didn't see many tourists. I think we're developing a tourist culture now because I've been back and I've seen all the changes over the years. When I first left, I'd be back every year, and then sometimes pass, and then I had bigger gaps. But Guyanese are appreciating their own country and having more travel, and with the digital landscape now, people can learn more about their country. And so when I see Guyana on video, and so like, oh, I'm proud, Guyana, this is Guyana nice. And living in Japan, that's the one thing I have good envy for. Good envy is that Japanese travel Japan. They
Mm-hmm.
visit their sites. When you go to those sites, it busts loads of Japanese. Not so many foreigners. Certain places, the temples, the streets, they make much of it. And for me, when I write the books for my village, I hope that those books, because I feel that my village is like a heritage site, and
Mm-hmm.
it can be certain things can be preserved for heritage so that we can teach and preach and appreciate grow an appreciation for the simple and the mundane, because like when we went to Soweto, I mean, the things I saw in the Soweto museum are the things my grandparents grew up with, you know ordinary things, the chamber pots, the different things, or we in Guyana we call it posy, and the can. You know, those are things in tourist attraction. I don't think I care for the notion that my village turned into a museum piece, and that's we just put it up for foreigners to see, but for us ourselves to appreciate. Yeah, so
I
that's
agree
what.
with you. I agree with you that that can really be life changing in many ways. When you know your country, you know your heritage, it gives you a
Mhm,
proud sense of belonging. Not just that,
mhm.
it gives you topics to talk about. It gives you topic to talk about. Whenever you sit on the table, you always have something to say. You can manage a
Mhm.
conversation, you can drive a conversation. If you don't know, people will say anything, and you just be quiet. And if you're quiet about where you come from, people will tell you about where you come from,
Yes.
and
Mhm, mhm,
they will tell you through their eyes. They will tell you, and
mhm.
you will start to believe that where you come from is what they see through their eyes, and they may have
Yes.
other of telling you, they tell you the things that they want you to believe about where you come from. So I
Ye-
agree very much with
Yeah.
you. And again, if um, sometimes it's very expensive to travel. But when I hear, our sister friend Barbara, traveling across Africa, it's something that I really have
Yes.
in my bucket list. That when you
Yes.
start traveling, sometimes it's not about money, it's the way you can plan it. If you
Yes.
know how to plan a trip, you can really go to many places. You are an author, you have your business. If you have the kind of business that allows you to walk on the road as you go, or to offer services
Mhm.
as you go, when you are someone who is open to contacts, where you can connect with people, and you love risk, you are adventurous, you can stay with any stranger, and if you open your mind to that, I think you will discover so many beautiful things. And
Well,
sometimes, chasing work, we're chasing different deadlines, we're chasing money, we're chasing all the kinds of things that we think we need to do, that we forget, we forget to take the time. I mean, I'm talking, I can talk. I've been sitting in my house locked down for how many days? I haven't gone to the gate. But I know many people are like that. But sometimes, if sharing this kind of conversations can activate, can ignite that sense of saying, let's do it together. Let's do it together. Can we do it together? Can we plan a trip? Whether it's just one thing, can we pick one city at a time and visit it, and then plan the next one? Just like we did this book launch, P. You see, just like this book launch, different people coming in and out with different aspects. That could already be a plan. Hey, do we want to make a road plan? Do we want to do? I'm thinking, those of you, Geraldine, Cornelia, and Bernice, and all of you out there listening, drop us a note. What do you think about traveling? I mean, even when we don't have money, can we do that? Can we do it virtually? Can you show us Washington through your eyes, Geraldine, on a call? So I show you the streets of South Africa, and Pauline shows us Japan. We are on screen, but we're moving around each other places. Can we do that, Bernice? Can we do that? Anyone who is coming into the conversation. I mean, we got to create a new way of traveling. If we are forced to do life virtually, do business virtually, we can travel virtually, just like we've been doing. But we can do that in a more organized way. Who is in? Raise your fingers. So I see Bernice says she went to my website. Bernice, please use the contact form or just drop me an email. Let me know which books you want to have and where you want them to. And I will check to see if I can ship them to you. I don't know which side of the globe you are in, but also in terms of the downloadables, when they're ready, you'll be the first to know. So please drop me an email from the website, and then I'll follow up with you happily. Okay, so P, what do you think about the plan, making a plan to travel virtually?
Girl, I know by traveling in real life, I'm the woman to ask how to travel cheap all over the world. I got it down to a science. So if anybody wants to know about that after the COVID, I'm your person. I know to get there cheap and live cheap and do it. But with the COVID, yes, it's an interesting idea. If we have the time, or we can share, our voyages that way. Yeah.
Yes, we can share that, but also, P, we can sit down and do a PowerPoint presentation, the pictures of some of the places we've been to, or the places that we come from. We can definitely do that travel. It could also help you, when you do the virtual one, when it is time for you to really travel physically, you have a better, you have a better, you're in a better position to consciously choose the destination where you want to go to based on, the virtual travels that you've done. And I think that could be exciting. Geraldine, she can show us around the White House. Yes, when are you doing that? We'll show you about South Africa, Union Building. Go to Pretoria and show you the Union Building in return.
Geraldine, are you sure you can go near that White House, girl? I don't know.
So Geraldine says she needs the book as well. Geraldine, I hear you. You and I would just have to get on an email conversation, and then figure out a couple of things. I know that you also want to get on the master class. Please talk to P. P is going to be your main coach for the master class. Please talk straight to her, and then I will join wherever possible. And in terms of the books, please just drop an email, and then I will follow up with you personally, not on Facebook, but on your inbox, or maybe we can do it with a call and figure out the best way for you to get the books.
Yeah.
Cool. P.
Yes.
So if you were to visit Africa, you've seen all these beautiful places in the book virtually. Which do you think is going to be, the destination that you would love to go to? Next.
I think I want to go to Namibia.
Namibia.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I met someone from Namibia at my job here, and I'm curious about Namibia. But I have a set of them on my bucket list. Yeah.
Do you reckon that Namibia is just next door to South Africa? You should be in South Africa, girl.
But it's Botswana. But the thing about it is, if I'm going to Namibia, I want to get countries around there. I don't want to do one. I got to do like
Mm-hmm.
a triad because it's just a waste of
Mm-hmm.
time. Like 3 days here, 3 days there, 3 days there, whatever, whatever, to get it all in
Mm-hmm.
one shot. Yeah, and then you take another spot and do that. Yeah,
Girls online, besides the virtual travel, who else would be interested to explore the idea of traveling? I mean, just traveling, explore the idea. Just if you're warm with the idea, how it's gonna get done is something that we think about. But I'm just trying to explore to see what chances are there for us and our children to discover as much as possible. Because we are connected now, because we know each other, how can we make that possible? You know, I'm just thinking like
yeah.
something in
Well,
here. You were
Beatrice,
saying
I
something?
think. Hold on. Gwen is saying that you're not acknowledging her comments. Maybe you're not seeing them.
Oh,
She
oh,
said
Ma'am Gwen,
that she had a
I
you got to
haven't.
refresh the page. She said a trip
Oh,
to
maybe.
Tanzania would be fun. I was fortunate to visit the Pink Lake because my daughter studied in Senegal, and now it is time for the Red Lake. So I see you, and yeah, sometimes we have to refresh the page because I never see comments, but luckily I'm seeing
You know,
comments tonight.
it depends on the pages that you're on. If you go on the Africa for Smart Kids page on Facebook, then I see all the comments. If you're
Hmm.
commenting from my Facebook page, I will not be able to see them here because I'm only on one screen. I'm allowed to see on one screen. So, Ma'am Gwen,
Right.
I acknowledge you. I'm sorry I couldn't see you. If anyone is on another page where you think we're not seeing your comments, please, there is one way we can do that. I invite you to go from the global, from the Africa for Smart Kids page, Globuntu Books. If you go from there,
Mhm.
I'll see all your comments and I will be able to acknowledge you. And if I've not been doing
Yeah.
because I have not been seeing you, I put out my apologies. That's the reason. It's not deliberate. So,
Yeah. So she
P,
was
I've
saying,
watched that screen. If there's any other thing, just pick it from there, please.
yes, she was talking about the pride of the continent, and then she says, whose hands are involved? Indeed, Dr. Pauline. And she said, I can tell you a lot of adults need
Mm-hmm,
this, myself included, right? Yeah, so these books
mm-hmm,
are not just for kids. I like to say, we're not writing just funny books. We're writing books that hopefully may make people think, enter conversations, enter new experiences. And
mm-hmm.
if it's fun and they can laugh, good. But yeah, that might not be a
Yeah.
primary goal. Yeah.
Ma'am Gwen and I had a conversation this morning. As
Mm.
she is very passionate, she's growing a very, very big passion about this book writing. Not just
Mhm.
she's pushing not just adult women, but she's also pushing parents to send in their kids to the master classes because,
Yeah.
like us, she believes that writing will greatly transform the lives of children. Even though she's
Yeah.
very busy, and Mam Gwen has a political background, so she's registering to do her book as well. But
Yeah.
alongside that, I very much appreciate the fact that she is going beyond her, and she doesn't even put herself first. She's going beyond her and looking about around people around her who have a
Mhm.
story to tell. Because again,
Right.
when we tell our stories, we take people to places. We take people not just to our spaces. We don't just build a legacy. We don't just sort out our lives and have clarity. We tell a story, and the story is something that the world is all a story. We tell a story to uplift, to heal, to celebrate, to ignite, to encourage, to inspire, or to entertain someone to a certain extent. But like you rightly
Mhm.
say, our books are not for entertainment. Yes, there may be some elements in there because information could be entertainment as well. What we're writing is really unleashing, going to the core and looking for that part of the story that is not being told. Trying to bring it.
Your sound is going away. V,
Oh, can
where do
you
you
hear me
have your
now?
hand? You have to take your hand away from your computer.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you better, but when you put your hand, it gets noisy, and I don't know if it's static or something.
Okay, I'm gonna keep my hands so for now.
Yes, your brain.
You don't know where your
Yeah,
hands go to. Sometimes you don't know where your hands go to when you're talking.
yeah. So I'm
So,
excited about. the writing of the books, the journey you go on. I find that when I write books, I discover more about myself and my thoughts about whatever I'm writing about. And the thing about it is, as you write, this thing has a mind of its own. It opens up new spaces. And it's like I'm entering different chambers and very excited to go where the next thing is happening. And, when I first started, I was very hesitant about what I was going to do. I mean, this is a person who studied writing, who got this PhD in writing, but I was writing a different kind of writing, writing to formula and to expectations, yet still knowing that there is this other liberatory part of writing. But when you're in the academy, sometimes risk taking is not, will cost you. And I was lucky enough to take certain kinds of risks. So I think that having taken those kind of risks, I can go on this journey with you to take more risks. You see? So I like the whole idea of going out and doing that. And sometimes we color between the lines, but sometimes we can color outside the lines and let the coloring go outside the lines because we're making beautiful patterns. You know, who's to say that everything has to look the same and be the same? So
Mm-hmm.
it's an invitation to wonder. Like you said, the wonders of Africa is, writing is about the wonderment of thought and ideas and experiences to pen, to paper, to devices, to whatever. So that's an exciting journey. The journey itself is empowering.
Mm-hmm. When I started writing, when I look at my writing journey, when you read my book one, you see like it was my baby step. I was still like very hesitating, not
Yes.
too sure about what I was going to write. Was like bumpy and saying, okay, let me react to people's questions. And when you look from book one to book two, I graduated. Let's go look for Made in Africa. What is Made in Africa? I became bold. And then I said, okay, if this is made in Africa, let's go talk about colonization. And how about enslavement? And then from there, I'm
Mhm.
looking like, okay, I've discovered all these things. How about we talk about the whole 55 African countries?
Mhm.
And there was, I know my Africa from A to Z, just coming naturally. And from there, I was like, female presidents, let's go talk about them. So when you see the writing process, it's like once you're in, you become more curious, just like you said. You become curious, and those
Mhm.
doors at the chambers are opening, and you're daring to go in there. And you write not because you know how to write. You learn writing
Yes,
by writing. No one was
yes,
born a writer.
that's so true.
You learn writing
That's
by
so
writing.
true.
The more you write, the more confident, the more self confident, the more aware you become of the things that you
Mhm.
can write about. And this is why I think this is why we're so passionate about, because we've discovered the joys of writing. This is why we're so passionate about getting other people to write. When you know how much it is empowering for you, how much it is uplifting, and how much permission it gives you, to find your voice and to be articulate, you realize that you want many people to be in that space. And just imagine when you pick each one of these books, it is inviting. The questions at the back, and the reader's guide, they're inviting young people to say, okay, if you're living in that country or you like one of those countries, pick one of them and write about it. Write more about it, because I believe that the more we write, the more the things that we are touching on the surface expand. You
Mhm.
may see a book just about on Table Mountain in South Africa. Someone may just write a book on that, and then they give you more insight. So our books are
Mhm.
there to invite. They're there to invite people to ignite and to make many people expand on the foundation that we build. Decorate the house. We're building a
Mhm.
foundation. Someone will build a story building. Someone will decorate the house. And I think that is the essence of this. Whether you're talking about wonders of Africa, whether you're talking about female presidents, whether you're talking about why the stories say never string, they all are there as sorts of invitations. So I lose Pauline. Let me see what is on Facebook. Oh, Ma'am Gwen, you're here. Ma'am Gwen, you're here. Now I see your comment. Um,
Yes.
I I am thinking of a session next month as we celebrate Heritage Day in South Africa, where you ladies can launch this same book to help more people know the continent better, because we know Europe more than our continent. Ma'am, I agree with you. We all travel to different places. We travel, we want to travel abroad. We don't know that, in South Africa, you can travel next door, and that could be even more
Mhm.
enriching. You're traveling within your culture. You're traveling, you don't have to change currency. You don't have to pay much. When we start traveling domestically and knowing, our country, we gain more. By the time you go out to other people's culture, you have enough to tell them when you get there. You don't marvel at who they are. You don't get overwhelmed at who they are when you know where you're coming from. On the contrary,
Mhm.
when you are there, you can start educating people about your culture. And I think our African and Black culture is one of the least known in the world, which means we have an assignment to teach people about what we know, to open doors so people can discover this culture as well. So, Ma'am Gwen, we are available whenever you're ready. Yes, and you and I can talk, and we can get. I would love to,
Yes.
see who can come in. Dr. Pauline can come in. We can get Geraldine in. Everyone from different angles where they are, and we travel. That's the virtual journey we're talking about. The virtual travel.
Yes. Did you see Cornelia's comments? She
And
said,
no,
she
somewhere
said,
else.
I've
Can you read?
learned, she said, I've learned a lot so far. Thank you very much. And she said, my journey and love for traveling started in her local linear. I hope I say that word correctly and know what it means. And then she mentioned library. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Cornelia. When you were talking about we can do all this travel, something crossed my mind and kind of lost it now. I don't remember what it is anymore. Yeah. It was something important at the time, but it's gone now, so maybe it's not important now.
Well, it will still come in another conversation. It's certainly going to
Yeah.
pop up. Latest, when we're doing the conversation with Mam Gwen, it will still pop up. So, P,
Yeah.
we are at it's 2 o'clock.
The
I
nine
know
o'clock
it's
hour. Yes.
yes, and I know I hijacked you this morning. You were not
Yes.
prepared for this conversation. Our young author who was supposed to sit in, she could not, and so I just went for our next award-winning author. And I'm
Yes.
so happy that you always have my back. I can always fall back on all of you, and you just catch me. It's such a wonderful feeling, and I want to say thank you so much
You're welcome. Yes.
for sitting in. So, P, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up.
Yes.
Your thoughts, your concluding thoughts, wonders of Africa, travel, our culture, writing.
Yes. I teach college students and I teach engineers, junior engineers, and I asked them to write a story. And they looked at me and I knew they didn't want to do this assignment because when they're engineers, they feel stories are soft. It's not, the chemistry and the physics and whatever the engineering context and all these different things. And but and then when you ask them to write a story, they say, I don't know what to write about. So it's a leap you have to take. And books like this show you can write about anything. Anything. But you see that anything is so scary for people. It's so scary. People want to be told what to write about. And we have to disabuse ourselves of that because when we're educated, we are educated to fit into boxes,
Mm-hmm.
into certain kind of boxes. But then we have to give ourselves permission to experiment and don't hold it. I think writing is like a bird, a little bird in your hand. And if you're holding it so tight, you kill it.
Mm-hmm.
So writing is like holding it very gently. Whatever baby you're creating, hold it gently, love it, love the writing. My dissertation chair told me that. Do it with a grateful heart. Do it with love. So if you go into it with love, you want to have soft eyes for it and you watch it grow and grow. And the business of writing is not the business of publishing. The business of writing is not the business of editing. It's just the getting it out. And after you get it out, you will see what you created. And then you can go back and do the tweaks. But if you're never willing to get it out, out, you'll never get a book. And I've read many, many books. Some of them have no typos. Some of them, the best ones have typos. So that's something we work on. We have to work on that. So I would say to anybody, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to take that venture. It will bring out a different aspect of your life, a different space that you create, and it's a liberatory space. And even if you learn things, that you will learn a lot of things about yourself, good things, challenging things, not so good things. You will begin to figure out how you think. What are those thoughts in your head that renting space up there that telling you can't do this. Yeah, and you learn how to deal with that critic on your shoulder and the imposter that speaks. Yeah. So I would say go for it. We did it, took the plunge. Yeah.
Thank you, P. Ma'am Gwen is saying, thank you. Not to fit in the box. Great. Get it out, then you will get a book. That's very correct, Ma'am. You got it all very right. Get it out, and you'll get a book. And even if you fit in the box today, tomorrow you're growing. You're growing. We're growing
Mhm.
every day.
Yes,
And if
yes.
you had to fit in boxes, then someone had to be creating a box every second, every single.
Like everything else is learning and practice, you know?
Mm,
Is that a thing you've done before? I did all these degrees. I got 3 English degrees. And some of these things, I learned them theoretically. I've written things, I've written some well, not so well. But this is a new kind of thing. But, I have a confidence because I have certain understandings about writing. But the actual writing, no matter how many understandings you have, you still got to write that thing. And writing got a
mm,
mind of its own. So
mhm.
and to tame our synapses fire at ridiculous rates as per second, milliseconds in our brain. And we want to harness that. And it doesn't have punctuation, it's got fragments, it's all over the place. But we got to harness all of that and quaff it and put it on paper or on our devices. It takes skill building to do that. It takes time to do that. But people have done it, so we can do it. I think Cornelia is saying something. She
Yes.
said, oh, let's see. She said that tribal Ubuntu support, and she's giving muscles and thumbs up and hearts. And she said, I have to say yes, yes, yes to that. I'm not sure. Yeah. Thank you, Cornelia. Yeah.
Beautiful. Trevor, sister, as always, thank you. You want to watch out for our next book launch tomorrow. We are going to Europe and claiming our legacy. The title is Untold Stories: The Legacy of People of African Descent in Europe from when? From 199 AD to 1975. No, 1957.
Mhm.
You see, when it comes to figures
Make
are
up your
fun.
mind.
199 AD to 1957.
Mm.
It's a powerful book. We're gonna meet people there that will blow your mind. People who came from directions that you cannot even imagine. And again, that takes me back to P's comment about writing. I did not know about these people, but when I get into writing, I get the courage to go look for them and to claim them
Mhm.
and to own them and to put them out for you to see. That is what writing does with you. It gives you a lot of powers, gives you a lot of courage and a lot of, you know, 2 days ago, there's an idea that came, go look for African inventors. Because when we say African inventors, we're always seeing African American inventors. And quite a lot of
Mhm.
them come from centuries. And I was out within half an hour, I had found 60 African inventors. And I just started doing research. So this is where the
Wow.
journey is. You pick things and then you realize, oh wow, we need to put this out. And when we put out all our stories, we write about where we come from, about our environment, our natural resources, our human resources. We have a different picture of us at the end of the day. In half an hour, 60 inventors, and they're not inventing just anything. There are so many young women amongst them. The youngest is just 12 years old. You know what this gives me?
Mhm.
It gives me that energy and say, put them out, let the world see them. Put them out, let their peers see them. Put them out, so we should celebrate them. And so this is where the journey is going. We still have 2 books to launch, and then we'll catch up on the kids book from Botswana that we didn't
Mhm.
do because the network was not so good. And in between
Okay.
that, we will continue the master classes. Ma'am Gwen will continue the master classes. Geraldine and Bernice will get your books. And Cornelia, our Ubuntu sister born, we will carry on that. And the conversation between Japan via Guyana and South Africa and the whole continent and the whole diaspora will continue because we are unstoppable, because we love what we're doing and we will keep doing it every night and day. So that was it for today. Except P has something to say. Okay, that was it for
That's it
today.
for
Thank you
me.
so much. Thank you
It's
so
been
much.
real and wonderful talking with you guys and connecting. Yeah, enjoy it.
Okay, so please bring like this page. You can love it, of course. Like this page, you see my passion. Share it. Check the videos. Go as far back as you can. Go back and forth. All the videos are out there for you. Go check what the stories say. Oh, P, we should launch Never String.
Oh yeah,
We should launch Never String. We must program that as well. So
yeah.
this is what it is. Many more books will be coming up, and we're not stopping even when we finish the 27 days. So see you tomorrow, and then let's go look for our legacy in Europe. P, have a wonderful night. And all of you
You
sisters
too.
out there,
Take care and have a great day or evening or morning or whatever, wherever you are.
yes. Thank you for this wonderful information, Bernice says. Thank you to Bernice. Thank you very much. We see you. So, and we
Thank you
acknowledge
for
all of
coming
you.
in, Bernice.
Bye.
Yeah, good. Where did she go?